Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started just about a minute early here. Minimize my screen over here so I don't have to worry about the distraction. So, if this is your first time joining one of our meetings, welcome and thank you for joining. We're going to cover a number of topics on this call, but one specific sales topic. And just in case, again, you haven't been part of any of the calls previously, this is the rundown. We're going to give a quick introduction to the platform that you're on Zoom and make sure you kind of understand the do's and don'ts. I don't think we're going to have much of an issue, so we'll breeze right through that. I'll kind of highlight some things that we've done on Zoom, and then also remind you of our iCloud photo sharing program and some new additions and where to go to find some of the new pictures, just to point out for you to use in your sales appointment if you already have these pictures on your device. I'll hit the top performers for the month of December. I'll actually cover one other sales topic as well, or actually two in this month, the warm up and the agenda. So that's going to be our specific sales topic of the month. And then some upcoming topics that we are going to cover in future calls. So the basic functions and etiquette of the Zoom platform, you should be aware by now that this is a video and audio platform. I've attempted to mute everybody, so we shouldn't have any issues, but just in case, want to make sure you hit your mute button on your device that you're using. There's also a video button that if you've enabled, we'll be able to see everything that you're doing. So if you don't want to be seen folding laundry or doing whatever you're doing at the moment, you may want to disable that function. So just keep that in mind. We use this platform for a number of things. I'm going to post on YouTube here shortly a Zoom call that we just did for new hire training that I split into two separate parts. And for you that are franchise owners, this will be helpful for you to show any new hires, not only both parts, but if you want someone to just have a refresh on product knowledge, I've actually separated the videos into two parts for that reason. So I've got one hour video that we did a Zoom call on where you can actually go over some product knowledge. Here's a chat in the window. Okay, perfect. So most participants don't have microphones, so we should be good on the whole microphone thing and speaking. But yeah, the videos that I'm going to post on YouTube that I did this past week, again, one of them's an hour-long product knowledge refresh, so you can really see how our products are made, where they're made. It has videos to kind of showcase how our mosaics are made and hand cut. Very interesting stuff. You may have seen the videos before, but just in case you haven't, again, this video goes into detail about our process. So that's one. The other one is, again, a new hire complete training for sales reps specifically. So it goes over step by step what to do in a sales appointment. So those videos, along with other coaching and calls like this, I put up on YouTube so everybody can go back and watch if they want. This YouTube tutorial that I have listed on this page is simply just a in-depth how to download it to your device and the functions, raising your hand, chatting, stuff like that. You guys are all obviously good enough to be on the call right now, so you may not need that. The iCloud photo sharing program. So this is also known as the iPad program. Again, those of you that have been on calls before, sorry, this is going to be a little redundant for you, but I do want to make sure those that are new to the call understand what that is and how they can get on the program if they want to be on it. So the iCloud photo sharing program is a program that I developed where we could group a bunch of installation photos onto our a iCloud account, and then I could share it with everybody in the system. So if you do want some install photos of bathrooms and kitchens and other, competition, we've got some competitor seams that are, all jacked up and will help you illustrate how heavy other products are compared to ours. Or, I've got pictures of stained granite and marble and then some burnt quartz and cracked quartz. So these are all helpful pictures I'll show you here in just a second, but these can be automatically uploaded to an Apple device. So as long as you have an iPhone, an iPad, or you have a Mac of some sort, MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, you can send me an email requesting that I share the photos with you, and then I'll send you a number of invitations along with the YouTube tutorial on how to make sure your device is ready to be set, or making sure it's ready to subscribe to the photos and just get them downloaded. So again, I'm going to actually share, as I always do, with you some photos. So again, if anyone can chime in on the chat screen and confirm that you all can see the Trashenda folder right now, that would be great. So maybe Martin, you seem like you're active on the chat box. Can you confirm you're seeing my pictures? Anyone? Oh, there we go. All right, perfect. So you can see my pictures. So I did add some new ones that I want to show specifically. That's why I started with this folder. So if you haven't had your device, if you are a subscriber and you haven't connected your device to Wi-Fi recently, there's a few photos I added this past week. These are a couple right here. So we added that one, added this one. So it was a nice shower installation. These were added out of the Knoxville or Nashville location, I believe. There's a nice standalone standalone tub that I like as well. So again, keep in mind, if you haven't connected your device to Wi-Fi, that's kind of what you need to make sure that these photos continually upload and as I post them. But there's really going to be an invite for each one of these collections. So if you request the photos, I'll send you an invite for the white cabinets, the sinks. And again, some of them are very beneficial and helpful when you're in a sales call to help give vision to a client. So if you have a client that's looking to do the gray cabinet look, again, we can show them some installations of that. Some before and afters. Again, we've had some pretty stunning before and afters, and I'm always looking for more. So there's a before and there's an after that was shared with us out of the Canadian market. So again, very, very helpful to have these photos when you're in a customer's home. Not only for just showcasing our product, but also for going over the differences between our product and other products. So I've got lots of pictures in here of, quartz that's been burned, quartz that's had UV ray issues, where there's been too much exposure to UV ray. I've got cracked quartz, cracked granites, you name it. And again, you probably all have a few photos. Again, some of these were shared by the group. Maybe some of you that are on the call, but overall, these I found to be very helpful for reps as they were trying to do a sales presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing that. I have one chat in the window, so I just want to clear that real quick and make sure we're good. Okay, so we're good there. Now I'm going to go back to sharing screen, go to the presentation so everybody can see these and move on. So if someone could chat into the box real quick, confirm that you can see the presentation again, that would be awesome. Can everybody see it? I would say thumbs up, but no one's got a video open that I can see. See it. All right, perfect. So we've got confirmation. We're going to go ahead and move forward now. So again, should you want to be part of this program and you're not currently, you can just simply write me an email at mgooch@trend-group.com down there at the bottom, or you can reply back if you received an invite for this call, and I'll be sure to send you those invitations along with the YouTube tutorial on how to set up your device so you can automatically download these photos and get more as I add them. Next, we're going to hit our top performers for the month of December. Again, this is actually a very nice list. It's only about 5. Just to keep in mind, I make these lists off of our royalty reports, and at the time I made this presentation, we were still short 10 royalty reports. So it is possible that if your name's not up here and you think it should be, I just didn't get the royalty report in time. But we do have some top performers for the month of December, which I just want to give special congratulations to, because December's not typically a very big month for us numbers-wise. Everyone's focused on the holidays and stuff. So for the folks that are on this list to be able to put up the numbers they did, I just want to throw out a congratulations to you for the month of December. Number 1 in our system for the month of December was Paul Mallory out of Kansas City. Very consistent closer. Again, always puts up nice numbers. He closed the month out with $156,561. So congratulations to Paul. Gretchen up in Sonoma. I think she may have been on a call earlier in the week. So I don't think she's on this call, but she had $134,815. So congratulations to you, Gretchen, on that. Lynn up there in Northern California, they've got, as I say every month, just an amazing team up there that really are consistent. Lynn up there has put up another nice month of $109,985. Roger Dean Hanshoe, which is out of Little Rock, had a nice month as well, $108,146. So congratulations to you. And Tricia Paulson at $104,728. out of Sioux Falls. Very, very nice numbers as well. Again, not an easy task considering that December is kind of a tougher month. But I do expect next month on our January numbers to have a nice long list again. 15, 16 I think has been the record as far as how many have been on the top performers list, but I want to see that thing jump up to 20 if possible. So our topic that we're going to cover today for our sales topic, I should say, is our warm-up and agenda. Again, this is something that I think a lot of people take for granted, so I wanted to spend at least one call on it. And feel free to go back in our YouTube history here. I can provide the links if need be on some of the other elements that I've covered previously. But again, you should be seeing now that there's puzzle pieces that are being fit together. In each one of these calls, we're going to spend a little bit of time on a brief period of time here on a specific topic, and they'll all add up to one, kind of how-to for a sales call. So I'm just going to read here our warm-up. It's well-established fact that in sales, people buy from those that they like. Obviously, that's a given. However, forcing the warm-up can kill your sale before you start your presentation. Warm-up should feel organic and not forced. It's important to remember that not all people warm up the same. So again, if you go in and just run through the motions and don't really observe your surroundings and what's going on with your prospect that you're dealing with in the moment, that can be a challenge and really kind of kill your sale. I've shadowed so many appointments with sales reps where they're pretty good, they're personable, but I don't feel like they're always making a real solid connection. Sometimes it feels forced. So that's why we're going to cover this topic. So oftentimes as a sales professional, there is an assumption that we connect with anyone. But this is what I was referring to. Are we really connecting to our prospects, not just asking them a question or making an observation and then talking for 10 minutes about our connection with what we noticed? That's not really connecting with the prospect. So as you can see in the second bullet point here, typically sales professionals rely too much on their mouth and not enough on their ears. So you really need to kind of make sure this is an engaged two-way conversation to really do a proper warm-up and make a good connection. By asking the right open-ended questions, you can more easily engage and warm up to your prospect. So again, knowing that you observe, oh, they like cars. He's got some classic cars outside. I'm going to talk for 20 minutes about, my connection to that. That's not really doing the job that you should be doing. So a skilled sales professional needs to be very aware of their surroundings. Taking note that the prospect's interest is crucial to determining the correct open-ended questions to ask. Below are some examples of open-ended questions. There are tons that you can ask, of course, but I listed a few. Again, those that are new to our industry need to get really skilled at this because, again, you need to spend your first bit of your appointment connecting with your client if possible. So what a lovely picture of your kids or grandkids. How old are they? I have 2 boys, so it's pretty easy. If you have children or grandchildren, nieces, nephews, people love talking about their kids, but again, it's not about you, it's about them. You're trying to kind of find these connection points and really get them opened up and talking to you. And really, they want someone to listen to them. So if you can open the conversation and get it rolling and get them talking, that's when they're going to like you. You don't have to do a ton, but listen and really kind of throw some things in here and there. I can see you're a golfer. Do you get out and play often? My first job was as a caddy when I was 14 at a country club. So for me, I had a strong connection to golf, and it was something I felt very comfortable talking about. So I would ask them, do you get out and play often? And if so, what courses do you golf at? And again, we could connect on that and talk about different courses, of course. And then, there are other things such as pets. Do your dog's adorable. What breed is this? Or, I like your cat. I had a cat that looked similar when I was younger. How old is your cat? Or, whatever. You can talk to them almost second to children, sometimes first, sadly. They'll talk about their pets. So again, that's a great point of connection with your client. Your backyard's amazing. Did you landscape this yourself? Again, I took this from my own personal experience. My first home that I ever bought had a horrible backyard, so I invested tons into the backyard and always loved when people would comment about it, and I would just open up and ramble about how, because I was proud of my backyard. So that's something that is a nice hot button that you can bring up that will sometimes get someone opened up and talking. I love your furniture. Where did you get it? Again, just talking about anything that you can notice and observe where you may have a good connection point and you can have a conversation with them is really what we're looking for here. Now, when it's not working, again, it's not something you want to continually force. So it's important that you kind of read the room and you can identify when your efforts to warm up are really just kind of falling flat and not working at all. You want to pay attention to the feel in the room, and anyone that's been in in-home sales for a long time knows what I'm talking about. Sometimes it just feels off, and when it does, you really shouldn't sit there and just try and force the issue, because again, that's going to kill your chances at a sale. Sometimes people just need to warm up over time. If you have a closed off husband or male that really this isn't his project, he doesn't want to spend the money on it, whatever the reason is, he's not going to want to warm up with you. So you need to kind of just take it back, go through your process as you normally would, and then as time goes on, you can find some connection points, hopefully. Body language is actually a really great indicator for your prospect. I mean, if they're sitting back, with their arms crossed, or they're giving you one-word responses, which I think is the next one. If you're asking open-ended questions and they're giving you a one-word response back consistently, you need to move on to your transition and your agenda. So this does not mean, again, as I said earlier, that you no longer try to warm up with your prospect. I can specifically think of a shadowing that I did in Sacramento a year or two ago with Jeremy, a great sales rep up there. He was fantastic. And we were in the call, and the wife was into it. The husband, a little closed off. It took him some time. And again, Jeremy was great. He just moved right on with his presentation, and eventually he and I both found some good connection points with the husband and really opened him up and warmed him up. But that wasn't until very late in the process. It wasn't during the traditional warm-up period. So again, you want to be aware and try to continually find ways to get in there and get them to warm up a little bit, but sometimes it's not right away. The transition. So after you've had time to do your thorough warm-up, this is the appropriate time for you to transition and ground your prospect so you can begin the agenda. You don't want to attempt your presentation in a small, cramped space. So if they've got you looking at a bathroom or vanity project, certainly you don't want to do your presentation there. So it's important that you try to ground them somewhere that it's going to be conducive for an appointment. So you simply ask the following question: do you have a space where I can set up so we can begin? That's it. It's very simple. So usually they're going to get the hint. Sometimes they're leading you there anyways, but I just want to take this second to remind people that you transition into your agenda by grounding the prospect and setting up in a space that's conducive for an appointment. So the agenda. This is when you set your customers' expectations for the consultation. It's important that they understand how our presentations are set up. So you've got to understand, oftentimes we're guilty of assuming that the client knows exactly what these appointments are like. So they'll sit there and attentively participate, and that's really not always the case. So it's important that you do go over the agenda just so they have an understanding of what's to come. Especially if they've started their process and maybe gone to a cheap slab yard or a Home Depot or a Lowe's, it's going to be a totally different experience for them than what our experience is. So if they come in with those expectations, this agenda is where you can kind of reset those expectations and let them know what our process is like compared to, maybe something they've already experienced. So you want to start by saying the goal of our meeting today is to learn what you would like to achieve with this project and whether we're going to be a good fit for each other. Not whether I can sell you something, it's whether we're going to be able to fill your needs and whether you want those needs from us. So I'll start by asking a few questions about your project. That's the needs assessment, which we covered in a previous call that's on YouTube. So one of these Zoom calls, you can go back and watch that if you'd like. This will let you know, it will let me know, if we're going to be able to do the work that you desire. So really, you're just trying to nail down, hey, I need to ask you some questions to make sure I understand the scope of work before I can say, yeah, we can do that, or no, we can't do that. I'll then tell you about us, and that's the pitch book. Or, if you don't use a pitch book, which you should, but if you don't, it's you telling them about us, showing them some pictures of our installations through the iPad program. But this will let you know more about our company and how we operate and what we can offer. So again, this allows them the opportunity to look at us and tell whether they've called out the right person for their job. I'll then show you some pictures of the work we've done, make some initial design recommendations, measure, assuming that we can make final selections on finishes, which 99% of our customers do with the help of you, the design consultant, of course, provide you a cost to the penny for your project. So I hit it very early and often that we have to pick a final color and our finishes to get you a price. I can't just give you a ballpark quote. Please be aware that we must select finishes, countertop color, to price this for you. You want to drive that point home early in the appointment so they can't just, oh, I don't know, any of these 2 or 3 will be fine. I'm just looking for a price. You don't want that. That's a death sentence. If at any point you don't feel like we're the right fit for you, please tell me. I have no problem with a no thanks. We have a lot of interested customers to see, and the last thing that I want to do is waste your time or waste my time. Giving them that authority to say, hey, look, really this is just not what I'm looking for, it's okay. Again, and really if you arm them with that power, oftentimes it'll loosen them up and make them feel a little bit more comfortable. And then this is kind of a verbal contract, the agenda that we're going over. You're simply going to go after that by saying, okay, so can we proceed? If they agree and say, yeah, sure, we can proceed, then again, that's them essentially, in my opinion, going and accepting your verbal contract. So they shouldn't be on their phone the whole time. They shouldn't be distracted. You've literally just laid out to them step by step what the appointment's going to look like and said, okay, so here's what you're signing up for. Can we go ahead and proceed? And then by asking that, they've kind of signed off. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And you can move on to your next step. So that's kind of where we're going to move on from that to the needs assessment. So the needs assessment, again, we have about a 20 to 30 minute video on YouTube about that, which we go over every single question of our needs assessment in detail and why we ask the questions that we do. So you can either use our needs assessment or formulate your own that ask the same, get the same information with your own spin on it. So some upcoming topics, again, the porch lighting, that's a topic that we'll probably combine with another one just to make sure we have enough content to fill a call. One-leggers, how we deal with that, setting proper customer expectations, price conditioning, how to upsell backsplashes, cabinets. Again, my customers don't like backsplash glass for their backsplash. They just like white subway tile or whatever you've heard. Bathrooms and getting a customer to select one color, not multiple colors. These are all things that we're going to cover. And we actually had a request from an owner for the next call, if we can put it all together in time, to bring in and really talk about selling financing, specifically going over how to sell that in an appointment. As opposed to just covering one of these other topics. So we might jump right to that, even though it's not on the list. So again, if you guys have any specific topics that you'd like to cover, feel free to shoot me an email and request that. Otherwise, again, you're more than welcome to go to our YouTube page or my YouTube page and look up all the videos that we've done up to this point if you need to catch up. So without further ado, that is the topic of the month. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to leave this open for a moment. It looks like we have one chat that I think was from earlier. Yep, everything's cleared up. So I'm going to leave this open for a moment. So anybody have questions or anything they want to cover? Normally I'd say I'd unmute you, but I don't think my audio is working properly. So I'm going to rely on the chat screen. So anybody have any questions about what we've covered or a suggestion for a future topic? All right, so I'm gonna give it like one more minute to give you guys a chance to type it out if there is. I don't think there is though. Perfect. So thank you everybody for joining the call. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and spread the word if you know that there are others in your organization that have not joined one of these calls that should be on here. As you can tell, these are very short, condensed mini calls just to kind of give us reminders of topics and really make us focus on what we're doing in sales calls and make sure that you're hitting a process and not just winging it. If you don't have a process as a salesperson, there's just no guarantees that you're gonna have good numbers. Oftentimes, you're an order taker at that point. So make sure you guys are out there following a process of some sort. Hopefully, it'll be ours. And happy selling. I look forward to seeing everybody have some stellar numbers for the month of January. So thanks again, everybody, and have a great rest of the month.